All right, hello again, boys and girls. This is Peter Renna back with the first edition of Vintage Toy Market Watch. Not to be confused with Top 10 Toys, which is something that I'm doing separately here on my own channel as well as on Tales from the Flip Side. This new series is going to be a short video just looking at the vintage toy market and just picking out some notable sales that I think we should all be taking a look at. I'm going to look at things from AFA Graded toy sales to mint on card or new in box, those types of sales, as well as loose, as well as some broken, and potentially some parts or weapons. Just the whole gamut of different things that you might see in the toy collecting world. So let's just dive right into it and get to our first sale. Now, our first one I'm going to go with is an AFA graded sale. Now, there's a lot of options out there, so I'm picking something that catches my eye or a sale that I think is pretty notable. And my first one here is a Star Wars droid Boba Fett figure from 1985. Mint on card, AFA graded 80. This sold for $7,117.74. Over $7,000 for this Boba Fett figure. Insane how much Star Wars is selling these days. And I thought with the ending there of Mandalorian and the tease for what we have coming with Boba Fett, I thought we had to do a Boba Fett figure somewhere here on the list. So why not just start them off right at the top with this AFA graded one? Now, here's a look at the figure just to see what it would look like outside of the package. Just if you got it, you see like the little coin there. This is what it would have came with. It looks pretty much like the regular Kenner edition of Boba Fett, but again, different packaging for the droid series. Now, if you look, this is a close-up from the actual sale of the AFA graded label, so you can see that it's graded as an 80 plus. So it's pretty notable for over $7,000. This is one heck of a sale. So congrats to the seller, congrats to the buyer. I'm sure everybody came out happy on that one. All right, so that's our first sale that I wanted to take a look at, which is going to move us on to our next one, which is going to be a mint on card sale. Now, this one is a He-Man 8-pack original Masters of the Universe mint on card figure. Now, the difference between the 8-pack and others is there's 8 figures on the back of this one, which is a little bit different than I believe a later release of this figure that had the layout a little bit different. I'll drop a little image in there so you can see the quick comparison of the two. But this card is clean as anything. I mean, there looks like a little bit of yellowing in the plastic of the package, but outside of that, those corners are sharp. So this is definitely something that should get sent into graded, and I think that's even listed in the listing for the graded that AFA, that it's probably good to send this in to get this one graded for the buyer. This one sold for $2,500, by the way, if I glossed over that part. $2,500 for a mint on card Master of the Universe He-Man figure. Just amazing how much nostalgia sells these days. I remember having all of these He-Man figures, and I did not keep them in the package, so I don't have to feel bad about that. But even loose, some things still sell well these days. Which brings us to our next little choice here. Now, the next figure I have here, this isn't going to be a loose sale. This is for Turbo Man. Now, I don't know if you all remember Turbo Man, but this was the fictional character toy that Arnold Schwarzenegger had to go and track down in Jingle All the Way. Now, I didn't know this until earlier last year when I was actually doing articles for ToyInformer.com, and I remember I came across this and it's like, Turbo Man selling. One, I didn't even know there was a Turbo Man figure, but two, I didn't know how well it sells for. And if you can see here, $192.50 on 15 bids for a loose Turbo Man figure. So in the box, you're looking at a few $100s if you can find one. Now, Turbo Man, again, interesting. Arnold movie, it's just a weird little niche idea, I guess, a little niche. But like with the season, Christmas has just passed and whatnot, I thought it was fun to kind of look at this retrospective pick. So loose Turbo Man, interesting. So if you see one out there like at a flea market and it looks familiar to you and you go, oh, I remember that movie, grab it because this thing is worth money and sells. So moving on to our next. This next figure here is an original run G.I. Joe. You see, I'm a G.I. Joe fan. This was a later run. This is for the Tiger Force. So this is when they try to spruce up the line by having these weird little special mission forces, some repaints on some of the original figures. And this is a broken Outback figure. So this was from 1991. You can see here listed in the sales description, it's got a broken crotch. So this is something that happened a lot to some of the G.I. Joes. I mean, apart from breaking the rubber bands inside the guts of it, those little crotch pieces, whether it be the front end or the back. They didn't actually connect. There was a little gap in there, but either of the two could break, after heavy usage, playing with the toy. So if you can look here, you could kind of look like on this figure, it looks like the back end part is what kind of broke off, because the front looks like it's still mostly there. I mean, it could be a chip off of the front part too, but they didn't have a clear image of the break on the figure that sold, that Tiger Force one. But I also have an example there, and that shows how the piece could crack from the front or the back end. So it's just something to keep an eye on, because even broken figures can sell. $100 for this broken G.I. Joe figure. Granted, I realize it's not that big of a deal, a big break, but still, it's imperfect, loose, doesn't look like it came with any weapons. Still $100 sale for this broken G.I. Joe figure. So again, knowing what you're looking at could end up paying off if you're out there digging through yard sales, garage sales, flea markets, Goodwills, wherever you might be seeing these old toys that just, it makes you look back on your life and spark up that nostalgia. But outside of that, it also could make you some money if you know what you're looking for. So this will bring us to our last little tidbit for this week. And this last one is just a part. As I said, I might just be covering weapons. I might just be covering pieces of figures, because a lot of people like to collect the parts because they might be trying to rebuild or put together a complete version on their own. And this is a 1983 LJN Dungeons & Dragons Fortress of Fangs treasure chest parts. Now, there's 3 parts in this sale. It was the treasure chest, the top, and I think the body of it, as well as the gold piece that I think landed in on the figure. And that also sold for $100 for this piece of the toy. So if you want to take a look here, here's a look at the whole box, rendition of this. This is a great toy line, by the way. I can't wait to cover this on Top 10 Toys. But then you can see the open version of the box here as well, toy as well. And if you look there in the center of the mouth, that's where the pile of gold is. The treasure chest would basically be piled up on top of there when it was built and put in place. So this image here is an incomplete version. So somebody is buying the treasure chest pieces to rebuild or repurpose their own to try to make it complete. And it was worth $100. Again, even pieces, if you know what you're looking at, that's also not the easiest thing in the world to do. Now, like trying to figure out which weapon, like a G.I. Joe machine gun, goes to, which figure that might have went to, is not the easiest thing in the world to do. There's a lot of sources out there, from books to online resources, that might be able to help you track some of this stuff down. You just have to have an inkling of what you're looking at, and then just the will to do the legwork, the research to find out what it is. Because if you do know what it is and you list it properly, you can find a buyer that would give you money that's worth your time. I mean, $100 for a couple of pieces of a treasure chest isn't too shabby, because I'm assuming the seller didn't have the rest. Otherwise, they would have sold a more complete version of this Fortress of Fangs. But again, that's all I got for you. Again, this is just going to be a very, very quick video series. I'm just going to pick out a few things that I think are notable from the vintage toy market, and just kind of throw them out there. These, again, you can see from the little screenshots I took, all these sales took place over the last week. I went from last Monday, December 22nd, through today, which is the 28th. When I'm filming this, I'll drop this on the 29th of December for you to view and enjoy, hopefully. So hopefully you guys like this new series. Please like and subscribe to my channel, as well as the Tales from the Flip Side channel. And if you like what I'm doing, just please comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you would like to see, what suggestions you might have for toy lines to do on the Top 10 toy line. Or if you see something notable that sells on your own, you say, hey, look, did you see this sale? Throw it out there, and then maybe I'll cover it on next week's Vintage Toy Market Watch. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this quick little video, and I hope to see you guys again next time.